My father, he should live and be well, told me that when he was in the DP camp and they heard about the establishment of the State of Israel, that everybody in the DP camp, didn't matter if they were a Satmar Chassid, a Ger Chassid, or somebody who was no longer Shomer Shabbat, everybody felt the steps of redemption and began to dance together in celebration of the starting of Medinat Yisrael. There was this feeling that with the coming of Medinat Yisrael, as part of the international constellation of nations, what they had gone through could no longer happen again. Hitna'ari me'afar kumi, that the Jewish people were rising from the dust, that we would no longer have to be in the dirt and be concerned about pogroms or crusades. We were going to be masters in our own land, and that Jewish blood was no longer going to be cheap. Dam Yehudi eino hefker. Zeh Hashem kavinu lo nagila v'nismacha b'shuato. HaKadosh Baruch Hu had created an opportunity for us. And indeed, we've seen this through the modern state of Israel. But after all that has happened, the Jew who has been awakened by the opportunity of the state of Israel asks, what is the purpose of the state? What is the goal of the state? Whether it's the Ramchal or the Gra or Rav Kook or Rav Soloveitchik, each in their own ways explain the same idea. And that is that the pitzul, that the separation between Mashiach ben Yosef and Mashiach ben Dovid reminds us that we have to understand that there are two stages to the redemption process. There is the Mashiach ben Yosef, who is responsible for the externals. And just like Yosef and his mother, Rachel, were known for their beauty or their external beauty, Yosef is there to help protect the Jewish people when it comes to the externals, to make sure that there is physical safety, that we have our own army, that we have the ability to sustain ourselves with food and water and the daily needs that a nation has. The goal of Mashiach ben Yosef is to protect the Jewish people from the physical perspective, to usher in that redemption which we are in the middle of now. It's not about bringing the spiritual redemption. The goal of Mashiach ben Yosef is not to build yeshivot, but rather to create the physical infrastructure to allow for the spirituality, the final stage of the redemption, to happen. There is an interesting halacha that I heard from Rav Moshe Weinberger. Rav Moshe Weinberger makes a comment, and quoting the Chosda from Lublin, HaKorei et Megillah, if someone reads Megillas Esther, Lemafreya, backwards, Lo Yatzah does not fulfill their obligation. Says Rav Moshe Weinberger in the name of the Chosda Lublin, it's not only someone who reads the Megillah backwards, but someone who reads the Megillah, HaKorei the Megillah, who reads Megillas Esther Lemafreya and thinks it's about the past, thinks it's not about now, thinks that all the natural miracles or the miracles embedded in nature is about Lemafreya, of something that happened in the past, that Megillas Esther is a historical phenomenon and not relevant to the here and now. Lo Yatzah does not fulfill their obligation. If you don't see Megillat Esther in the present, you haven't fulfilled your obligation. If you don't see the fact that the destiny of the Jewish people have changed through the Mashiach ben Yosef, who was involved in building the physical, Lo Yatzah. We have seen in our day and age the Mashiach ben Yosef, the building of the physical infrastructure, the startup nation of the Jewish people. Yaakov had two wives, Rachel, that gave birth to the Mashiach ben Yosef, and Leah, whose beauty was an internal beauty, who gave birth to the Davidic dynasty, who gave birth to Yehuda, who gave birth to the Mashiach ben Dovid. At some point in time, we need to move from the stage of Mashiach ben Yosef, of the stage of just being concerned about the physical, to the spiritual. And I think that that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing not just the sprouting of the physical redemption, and we recognize the beauty that God has given to us, but now we actually see the spiritual redemption of the Jewish people. Anyone that listens to the music that is coming out of the land of Israel, both from religious singers like a Yishai Ribo, as well as other singers like Idan Reichel and others, recognizes the fact that the music of the present time is a music filled with spirituality. The thousands who are looking for, are thirsting for a connection, a romantic rendezvous with God, perhaps not in the formal ways that we're accustomed to. Whether it's the Kabbalat Shabbos services that they hold on the ports of Tel Aviv, or at the first station in Jerusalem, or it's the over 100,000 non-affiliated Jews that connected with Or Torah Stone programs over the month of Elul, whether it was experiential slichot, shofar blowing in the parks throughout Israel, or Yom Kippur explanatory services. It speaks about the Mashiach ben Dovid paradigm. It speaks about the fact that we're moving to this new ideal of a search for spirituality in the land of Israel. We're told, the Gemara tells us, quoting a pasuk, "V'samti kadkod shimsho shayach," that the kadkod, the stone of the kadkod, will be the sun, will be the light of the Jewish people. The Gemara says that there's an argument either between two angels in the heavens, Gavriel and Michael, or two Amarayim in Israel, Yehuda and Chizkiah, about what this stone is, the kadkod. One says it's the stone of Shoham, the Shoham stone on the breastplate, and the other says it's the Yashba stone on the breastplate. They didn't know an answer to what this stone is, this kadkod that will be the light of the Jewish people. And so they asked God, which one is it? The stone of the Shoham and the stone of the Yashba. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu responds in the Gemara, Lahave Kedeinu Kedein, that it is a hybrid of both of the stones. It's a mixture of both of the stones. The stones of the Shoham and the stones of the Yashba represent the stones of Binyamin and Yosef. These are the archetypal stones that represent the physical redemption, that's the stone of Joseph, and the spiritual redemption, the stone of Binyamin, which is the location of the Kodesh Kodashim, the spiritual epicenter of the Jewish people. It is the merger of these two stones, the Samti Kadkod. It is the merger of the Mashiach ben Yosef and the Mashiach ben Dovid, the Messiah from Joseph and the Messiah from Judah, that represents the complete redemption of the Jewish people, which is what we are looking for now. It is the challenge and the struggle that you see in the land of Israel, even in the elections, even in engagement with the Rabbanut. It is all about the search for spirituality without coercion. It is the beginning of the Mashiach ben Dovid, the spiritual component of the land of Israel. We are living in a time of Chavlei Mashiach ben Dovid, of the spiritual challenges and opportunities of being in the time of the Mashiach, the son of David. It's the time of more learning happening in the land of Israel than ever before in our history, the time in which all are searching for some form of romantic rendezvous with God. Please God, we will continue to witness not only the continued sprouting of Mashiach ben Yosef, of the physical redemption, which in its beginning had spiritual darkness, but we will also begin to witness the Mashiach ben Dovid, the spiritual redemption of the Jewish people, which we see happening around the corner in Israel, around all the corners in Israel. And please, God, we will create the opportunities for this to continue to sprout, b'mheira b'yameinu, speedily in our times.